What's up? It is Canucks This Week with Dan Riccio and Randeep Janda. Canucks have finally returned home. And Randeep, it looks like you got some new swag you're sporting right now.
That's right. I had to get in the game like you did with Spro. Dud Soda, hit it up. It's in the description at Dud Soda, DUDH Soda _ on Instagram. Check it out. Some pretty decent swag.
Yeah, some of our watchers here on YouTube may not know what Dud Soda is. Can you give a brief explanation?
All right. 10 seconds. It's basically a refreshing drink from way back when in the Punjabi culture. People still drink it now as well, but it's just something you do in the summer all season long. You just kind of chill out, you have a drink. And I feel like some of the reactions we're going to have in this video, a few Canucks fans are going to need some Dud Soda as well, just to relax.
Just to chill, and if you need to pick it back up again, slam a Spro and get it going back the other way. All right, it is maybe time for a Dud Soda for Elias Pettersson, who's off to a slow start. Signed the new contract and missed most of training camp, but now we're 7 games into the season. Pettersson has 3 points, and according to Travis Green in their latest loss to the Minnesota Wild, Pettersson was just average. And if you've been around Travis Green for long enough, you know what average means. It's not great.
Oh, not at all. And usually Travis Green will say he was good. He was okay. Average is a pretty big indictment coming from Travis Green, but he's not lying here. Elias Pettersson's game since he started the season with the Canucks after coming into camp late has been average. He hasn't been a difference maker. It's been far from ideal. And you can tell he's playing a bit of catch up, right? Missing the majority of preseason. And on top of that, then you have him coming back from injury. It feels like his timing is off. And I also think, there's an element of this. When you're a young kid, you've got a lot of pressure because you've got a new contract as well. So I think there's a couple of things that are working, against Elias Pettersson right now. Part of it is probably between the ears. He's lacking confidence. You can tell he's trying to beat, each player rather than making the simple play of shooting the puck or making the pass in that second. He'll maybe delay a little bit. You can tell the confidence for Elias Pettersson is not quite there. And that's why just the timing is off. And there's a few other things to deal with as well. But I think, a lot of it's between the ears because you don't see that immediate reaction that we've seen in the past from Elias, especially when it comes to shooting the puck. That volume is not high right now.
Yeah, you think about a young player, and in this market in Vancouver, of course, everybody is all over him. He signs a big contract. There's going to be crazy amounts of pressure. He knew that coming into the season. He talked about it when he signed the new deal and everything like that. But his play is not quieting anything down. It is only making it worse. I thought after the first 2 games of the year, you could feel, okay, it's close. He's just, kind of off a little bit. But he's gone further away than he has gotten closer. And if you look at the numbers, okay, 3 points total in over 100 minutes of 5-on-5 play. He has just 1 assist. Like, that is not good for a player that's been very good at 5-on-5 in his career to this point. And the thing that really worries me the most is the shot rate. This is a guy that has one of the elite shots in the league. It's backed up by his shooting percentage through his career, always well above league average. But this year, he's only had 6 shots on goal in 7 games at 5-on-5. His average per 60 minutes is 3.5, which is well below his career average, which is around 6. Everything about this player right now is nowhere near his career norms. So you can tell he is definitely in a slump. But the problem for the Canucks here, Randeep, is how long can they last with Pettersson in this slump? Because it significantly limits their ceiling when they are not having their best player play at his best.
No other lines have stepped up to a certain degree. Thatcher Demko has certainly stepped up in, the first 7 games of this season where that first line, not only Elias Pettersson, but he is the catalyst on that line with Brock Boeser and JT Miller when they're all playing together. If he's not going, somebody else is going to have to compensate. And you can survive with those other lines contributing and getting W's and Thatcher Demko doing that, but you're going to thrive. Are you going to be a playoff team? Are you going to be potentially searching for a top 3 spot in the Pacific? No, you're not. It really limits how high your ceiling is. And on the other side of things, even Travis Green most recently tried to work him down, demote him essentially to a line that's a little bit more simple. Just say, a meat and potatoes type of line to get him working and get that kind of, that mojo going, putting him with Niels Höglander, putting him with Matthew Highmore. But what happened there? Rather than, a player like Niels Höglander, who generally drags people into the fight and really elevates their game, he's
Mr. Fix-It. He's the Tim the Toolman Taylor of the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, he went from Mr. Fix-It to Mr. Irrelevant in that game against Minnesota. And that's not good if you're the Vancouver Canucks, because he's the guy that does fix everything, Dan, to your point. So it's not good. But, I think in the long term, if this goes on for another 5 or 6 games, yes, as a Canucks fan, you should be a little worried at that point in time. Right now, I still think there's that element of catch-up, that injury factor, missing preseason, his timing is off. He just needs a goal at this point in time. And whether it's on the power play, whether it's on 5-on-5, this kid is lacking confidence right now. And that's where you look at, the situation at hand, just saying any sort of goal. And, getting that goal from Alex Chiasson on the power play was a nice thing for, that was a nice touch. But it feels like Pettersson just needs a goal, and preferably on 5-on-5, because that 5-on-5 game has been hurting, Dan, to your point.
Yeah, and it's been talked about a lot here in the city, like what's wrong with the Canucks at 5-on-5? They can't score. They made all these additions in the offensive end of the ice, Connor Garland and all of these things that should lead to more 5-on-5 offense. And so far it hasn't worked. But, maybe, it's a more conservative forecheck, as we've talked about on the People Show, and some different things that they're doing in their systems. But at the end of the day, the number one problem for why this team isn't generating offense is Elias Pettersson. And until he gets going, it's going to continually be a problem. Any team, if Connor McDavid goes through a slump, the Edmonton Oilers probably go through a slump offensively. You can go across the league and see that. And that's what is worrying here, because there is some elements of this team that are working really well. And a lot of the new additions, and I want to focus on 2 specifically, Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland. They came over from Arizona in the big trade of the offseason. And it was a trade that was widely criticized, mostly because of Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract and the money you were taking on. But so far, tell me if I'm out of line here, Randy. So far, this trade has been a massive win for the Canucks.
Through 7 games, it definitely has, right? Both of these players, they went from the desert, and let's think about it this way. They absolutely were in the desert, literally and figuratively, because there was nothing going on with that hockey team in the desert. They went to an oasis in Vancouver in the sense that people actually care about hockey. There's an appetite to win within the organization. And the one player that I look at, he's got 8 points in 7 games, is Connor Garland. This is a player that has inserted life into the Vancouver Canucks top 6. Not only from an intensity aspect, which we all expected. If you'd watch Arizona games last couple of years, he's an intense character. He plays with tenacity, but the high-end skill, you're starting to see that as well. And when you're on a pace to score 60 points last year, I get it. But sometimes there's always the idea of, okay, smaller sample size. Is this player actually, projecting to be a 55 to 60 point player? I think those questions are starting to be answered this year from Connor Garland, where when he's playing with Bo Horvat, Tanner Pearson, you see that tenacity that I speak of, but you also see that passing. You see the ability to finish, which we've already seen in a small sample size this year. And Connor Garland, to me, is the key in this deal, in not only the short term, but the long term as well, because that contract that Jim Benning signed him to is extremely favorable. If you're looking for value as early as this year, that contract may be able to provide it. So from that perspective, especially, OEL's done well, but I look at Garland and I say, yeah, early on in this deal, it's a big win for Jim Benning. It's a smart move.
Yeah, 4.95 on the average annual value for Connor Garland. And as we've talked, it could be a sneaky option for the U.S. on their Olympic team with the way that he's playing on this Canucks squad. I mean, he brings everything. He's got incredible skating ability. His puck skills are great. Even thinking about the comps that people are making, which is Alex Burrows, I think he's got more offensive talent than an Alex Burrows. But yes, I could see the feistiness and the ability to get under your opponent's skin, like that type of player. That's what Connor Garland is, similar to Alex Burrows.
Vancouver fans are not going to appreciate this comparison, but he does kind of look like an early career Brad Marchand in the sense that the point production.
There. Why would you go there? Why would you take that?
True. I don't couch the truth. It's true. And the reason I say that is the high-end talent, obviously, with Brad Marchand and being one of the best wingers in the game, a 100-point guy, or at least in that level. Yeah, Connor Garland doesn't have that. But go back to early Brad Marchand. It was kind of profiled this way, right? He's got he's got some high-end skill, but he's got that tenacity. He doesn't take a shift off. He's going to get in your grill. He's a pest. It's kind of Connor Garland, early career Brad Marchand. I'm sorry, Vancouver.
Yeah. Now, the other part of this trade that I really like, and I know the War Cards on Twitter said that Oliver Ekman-Larsson is not even an NHL defenseman anymore, but his early career with the Vancouver Canucks certainly suggests otherwise. He's been fantastic, even more than I think you would have expected coming out of the gate. And there was so much discussion about, just getting motivation back and getting into a market that cares and matters around the league and wants to win, wants to be good, and that's what Vancouver is right now. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson has delivered. He's been on the ice for 6 goals for, just 2 against at 5-on-5. The numbers back it up. He's got a 55% shot share so far as a Vancouver Canuck. Sure, small sample, but that's one of the best rates in the league to this point. And he's gotten some of the best play we've seen out of Tyler Myers, another analytics darling. Not really. He's gotten the best out of Tyler Myers so far this season as well that we've seen with the Vancouver Canucks. I think the Oliver Ekman-Larsson deal so far really is what tips the scales in that this could be a huge win of a trade for Jim Benning.
I know how you love your obscure movie references. Try to beat this one. How Stella got her groove back, how Mizey got his groove back. It's OEL. OEL is the reason. He's provided stability on that back end, and Tyler Myers is looking solid right now. I can't believe I'm saying those words. 7 games in, and he has been one of the Canucks' better defensemen. What I like about OEL's game on top of that, and something maybe we overlooked or you didn't see it too much in Arizona, he plays with an aggressiveness as well. There's some physicality, there's some aggressiveness in his game, which, having the Vancouver Canucks having Alex Edler for the last couple of years, he had kind of slowed down a little bit. You had the occasional hit from him, but, just seeing another number 23 in a Canucks jersey actually be aggressive, being able to move, maybe lean into guys and be engaged in battles a lot, and just being able to move. I'll be honest, the mobility is the biggest thing. OEL, so far, I'm not putting the stamp of approval on the entire deal just yet, but so far looks very good.
I don't shoot the messenger, okay, Randy? But the way movie references work, people have to know the movie.
Oh, people know, but Stella, it's Angela Bassett back in the day. I have some obscure movie references.
All right. How do you feel about Elias Pettersson? Are you worried about his early start? Are you ready to call the Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland trade a win for the Vancouver Canucks? Let us know in the comments. Go try a Dud Soda. Check out the clothing line with Randy, and we'll see you in the next video.